Hello everyone, welcome to our weekly webinar. Today we will talk about matched pair test. I will walk you through the matched pair practice, which is lesson number 4 in A/B testing section. So first, let us try to understand the business issue and what data we have, what do we need to do. So the business issue here, we have a company that is trying to find out if changing the price of the facial items will increase the demand and improve the gross margin. So the company conducted the A/B test, and we need to compare the result. So we have few criterias. First, we have two files. One for the sales transactions per store. So we have invoice number, invoice date, item, gross margin, sales, store, and region. And on the other file, we have the treatment stores. We have the store number. We have the price level. The company decided to test two prices. So we have $76.99 price and $87.99 price. And we have the original or the current price, which is $98.99. So also we have the test duration, which is between March 20th, 2014 and May 28th, 2014. The data needed, which is year plus 6 periods, which is between February 7th, 2013 and May 28th, 2014. The aggregation level should be on a weekly basis. So, and the region should be included in our analysis. So, what do we need to do in this session? First, we need to create 3 data files. The first one, weekly store traffic data. This one should be used to match the treatment and the control stores. And the second file, which is store list data, should be include the treatment and control stores and the needed information. Also, we need to use it to match between treatment and control. The third file, which is sales data, this should be used for A/B analysis for our final result. And the sales data should be only for the stores that has a facial item sales. So finally, we're going to use the 3 data file to match our treatment and control, as we said, and to calculate the sales lift. Okay, so let's get started. These are our 2 files. As usual, select tool first. So let me see, invoice date, time. I don't need time actually here, so I'm gonna choose date. You can change this. You don't need 4 digits over here, but I'm gonna leave it as it is. So now remember, we have the full period we need between February 7th and May 28th. So I'm gonna filter on this date. So I'm gonna choose invoice date. Remember, this is raw data per item. So we need to do some aggregation here. Anyway, first let's filter the date. So I'm gonna choose range here. And as we said, 2013, second, 7, and 2014, 5th, and 28th. So Okay, remember our other criteria region to be included in our analysis. So just in case, I'm gonna add another criteria to take out all the null value in the region field. So I'm gonna add it manually. So and is empty. So region. So let's check our work now. Okay. Okay. So now, as we said over here, the aggregation level should be on weekly basis. So we need to include some data about each week. So I'm gonna add the start day for each week, the end date for each week, and the week number. We can do that by using formula tool. So I'm gonna start with week number. So we can use we're gonna have a numeric field here. So we can use this formula, date time difference, which give us the difference between two dates. So the invoice date minus the first date in my data set, which is 2013 second 7th, and I need it in days. So now I calculate the difference between the first date and the date I have in my rows. So now what I need to do is to divide it by 7 so I can get the week number. And I need to add 1 because I need to start my count with week number 1, not week 0. So, but what if I have a result like 1.5, 1.6? It's still week number 1, so I'm gonna use floor to solve this issue. Now we should be good. Okay, let me try and run this one. See? So this is the first day, week number 1. Okay, so I'm gonna add another field called uh, week start date. So this one should be a date. So I'm gonna use another formula called date time add. So my basic date will be the first date in my data set, which is 2013 to 07. I'm gonna add the week number minus 1, and I'm gonna multiply this by 7. So I'm gonna get how many days we should add to the first date. And again, I need to make my format in days. Also, I'm gonna add another column, weekend date. So also date. So I'm gonna use the same formula. Add, but I'm gonna use week start, and I'm gonna add only 6 days and format in days. Now, also remember, at some point, we need to calculate the data for the facial products only, to calculate the sales data here. So let's add a flag, a column to indicate whether it's a facial item or not. So I'm gonna add another column here. I'm gonna call it, let's say, facial flag. I'm gonna use if. So if SQ category equal facial, then I need it one or null. We can use 0 and 1, but we used 0 and 1 before, so I'm going to show you how to use null in this case. So this one should be integer. So let me see. Do we have a mistake here? Oh, yeah, we have it. Weak number. So let me run this formula tool and check the result. So as always, we need to check our result randomly. So this one, invoice date 7/2, this is the first date, should have the same first date, and we need to add 6 days, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, the formula worked correctly. And let's try this one. Do we have one? Yep. So should be facial. Yep, we have it as a facial. So now we need to make sure about this field. We need to, let me see. We need to make sure that all the stores have a data for the whole period. We should have 68 weeks here. So I'm gonna calculate how many weeks we have for each store. We can do that by, let's see, we can group by store. And let me see the week number. We can count distinct, and then we can do filter. We can tell this filter 68. So let me run it again. Okay, so false. That's good. All the stores have a data for the all 68 weeks. So now we have a cleaned and ready to use data. Let us see what do we need to do. So first we need to create weekly store traffic data. Okay. Let me delete this one. I don't need it anymore. So I'm gonna add summarize tool. So we need to calculate the data on invoice level. So invoice number, invoice date, group by, store region, all of these. I'm gonna add it group by. And then I'm gonna sum the gross margin and sales. And for the flag, facial flag, I'm gonna choose count distinct null. So now we will know if the invoice have a facial item or not. We can use count distinct here because we choose the null on the formula, or we can, if we choose zeros, we can use some and then we need to do some modification. Anyhow, let me run this now. You may ask why all these fields? Well, I need to use this output for more than one purpose, not just to calculate the traffic. So I'm going to show you how later on. Now, to calculate the count of invoice per store per week, I can add another summarize store. So just let me add store week number and the count of each invoice. So let's run it now. So let me see. Now we have our first file or first data set. Let us save it, output data. So I'm gonna save it as Alteryx data set. So I'm gonna call it traffic, sorry. So let me replace this file. Now let's talk about the second data set we have to create. So we need to create the store list data. So we need a list of the treatment and the control stores. But remember, again, we have two prices, and we need to prepare our list according to this fact. We need control stores and treatment stores for each analysis or each price. So also remember that we only need the stores that has sales for facial items. So we can simply add a filter tool here. See, that's why I create this one, so I can use it for more than one file. So I'm gonna just select the invoices that has facial item. So now what I need to do, just to group by store, and remember I need the region in my analysis. So let me run this. So this is the list of stores. So I need to know which one the treatment and which one the control. It's easy. Remember, we have a file that contains the treatment stores. So I can use join tool. So join tool over here. I can use store ID. I don't need the second store ID. But before that, remember I need this field. I need to know which price I'm using in my analysis. So I'm gonna change select tool. I'm gonna change the name of this field. For example, test or test group. So now I'm gonna use the join tool. So just let me. So store and take this out, and I don't need the current price here, so there is no need for it. So I'm gonna uncheck this field. Now, let me run this model or this workflow. Now we should have two outputs. This one for the treatment. So I have the store, the region, and the price. And this one for the control stores, all the stores that doesn't match with this store ID. So I have this control stores, but what I need to add a value for the not price level, the test group. So I'm gonna add it as a control. I can use formula tool. So we should give the same name, test group, correct? Yep, correct. So test group, we're gonna control. So now we can use union tool to get all the data in one place. So let's run the workflow. See, now we have the store, the region, and if it's control or over here, control or treatment, and if it's treatment, which price, the first one or the second one. So let's save this one. Output. So I'm gonna let me see. I'm gonna call it list. Yep. Now let's move to the third file or third data set, which is sales data. So this sales data should be per store on weekly basis and only for the stores that has sales for facial items. So we're gonna use the same input here. So another summarize tool. This is very straightforward. No, not this one. This one, sorry. So, yep. So summarize tool. So I need store region week. Group by, and I need the sum of the sales and the gross margin. So also let me save it. Output data. So I have sales file here. Okay. Replace this one. So let me run this workflow. So the third file, we have store, region, per week, sales, and gross margin. And for this one, we have list of stores with region and whether it's control or treatment. And the first one we create, which is the traffic per store per week. the traffic, or we can say the count of invoices, or we can say also the count of customer, but count of invoices more accurate. So now to the second stage of this practice, which is matching the treatment and control stores. So we can use A/B trend to calculate trend and seasonality. Remember, we will use traffic data or the count of invoices data to per store per week to calculate the trend and seasonality. So I'm gonna add the file we created a few minutes ago. So let me, so traffic, traffic. So this is pretty straightforward. So that the identifier is store, the weekend, performance measure, the count of invoices. So report period type, which is weekly. And the number 6. So here we need the test start date. Remember, not the first date in our data, but the first date of the test, which is, let me check it again. So test duration, March 20th, 2014. So 2014, March 20. So let's run this one to make sure everything is okay. So now we have each store with the trend and seasonality. Now, to match treatment to control store, we can use control tool. Let me see here, A/B control. So we have two inputs here. We have the data and we have the treatment. So we need to know which store is a treatment store and which one is a control. Easy. Remember, we created a list for the control and treatments. So I'm going to use this file. So let me, okay, join tool. So I'm going to use store. I don't need this one. I need region. Okay, let me run it now to see my data. Oops, I have something wrong here. Oh no, the error from this one. Okay, so we have store, trend, seasonality, region, and weather control or treatment. So we have our data here. But remember, we still have problem. We need to include the region as a factor in our analysis, and the only way to use a categorical variable in our case is to do it manually for each one. So we need to divide our data per region. And we need to run the A/B control tool for how many regions we have. We have 3 regions: East, West, and Midwest. So the first one, region Midwest. So now I have the data for the Midwest region. So remember, we have two inputs here, the whole data and the treatment data. So I can do it like this. Another filter tool, control. So I'm gonna filter the control here. Test group equal control. So this one, the if output should contain the treatment. So it's easy, and the whole data is over here. So let me run it to see if, we didn't do the configuration for this one. Okay, I'm sorry guys. Okay, let's do the configuration here. So the store, we need the trend and seasonality. Also, we need for each treatment, we need to choose two controls or two control stores. So now we should be okay. Let me run the workflow again. So now we have our data for SIEV. Treatment store number 15 has two controls or two control stores. So we need to run this analysis for each region. So I can do it like this, control, copy paste, and copy paste. So we have, what region we have again? Midwest East. So East, and what else we have? West. Okay. This shouldn't take long, a few seconds more. Okay, we have, okay, perfect. Now we need to use union tool to have one file. So you know what? I'm gonna use join tool to add the other information for each store. So I'm gonna treatment and store. I don't need this one. I'm gonna add the region and test group. So, and I'm gonna save this file. So output. I'm gonna call it control and treatment file. So, yep. Let me run this one again. So now we should have a file with each treatment store linked to one or two control stores with the region and this group or price info. So let's check our result. See, control, treatment. Each treatment has two stores. Distant, we have the region and we have the test group, whether the first price or the second price. So now the third and final step in this exercise or practice is to analyze the A/B test result. We can do that by using this tool, A/B analysis. So remember, we need to use sales and gross margin numbers. So we will use the file we created earlier for the sales numbers. Input data. Contains the sales and gross margin per store and per week. So let me see here. We need also the file we created over here. We called it control treat. So I'm gonna add it also. Input data. Okay, perfect. So just a quick note here. We said before that we have two prices. Or we can say we have two tests. And so basically we need to run two analyses. We can add filter tool so we can have two inputs. So let me add filter tool here. We can filter any one of them. So 76.99, is it right? 76.99, yep. So now we have two inputs. Now let's go to the A/B analysis tool. We have three inputs: control, treatment, and performance. So for the control, we can get our data from over here. So, and we can get the treatment also from here. For the performance, we need to use the gross margin. So let's do the configuration. So for the controls, select the field, which is control, and control unit to treatment unit, which is treatments. So for the treatments, select the field with the treatment unit identifier, which is treatment here. So select the field with the performance data unit identifier per store. And we need to use the end date of each week. And the performance measure will be the gross margin. So let me add a browse tool after interactive dashboard. Okay, let me run it. Oh, I forgot something here. We forgot to tell this tool about the test period. Okay, just a minute. So let's check the test period here. March 20th to May 28th. So over here, test data. So 14 March 20th and 2014 May 28th. Now March and May, okay. Control treatment, store, weekend, and gross margin. Let me run it now. So remember, this analysis only for one of the prices. We need to do another one for the second price. Okay. Now we have our report for this one. Let me add another tool for this one. So remember the T output for the price 76.99 and the F output for the price 87.99. So performance, control treatment store, weak start. Yep. This should be our last result. So let's see. So let me see this one. Oops. Did I make a mistake? One minute, please. I think we have the. Okay, let me add another one manually. A/B analysis. So we have the control and the treatment and the performance over here. So control treatment. So store weekend and gross margin. So we have a 2014 March 20 and 2014 May 28. So let me run it again. That's weird. Oh, come on. I made another mistake. Okay. Let me run it for the last time now. I'm sorry, guys. Okay. Hopefully this time we got this right. So No data available. Okay. This is just weird. So why? Let me see. Okay, I don't know what's wrong, but I'm gonna run it again. That's very weird. Alteryx issue, I don't know. Let's see. Okay. Now we're good. So for the price, again, I forgot the price. For the price, $87.99, we have this result. So the average left is 66. Okay, we can say that the report shows that the test price, $87.99, showed 66% improvement. Or we can say the average left as a result from the changing of the price to $87.99 would be 66%. Or 2014 per store per week, we can say improvement on the gross margin. For the other report, I think we don't have a good result here, yeah. So there is a minus $16 per week per store, or we can say decrease in the gross margin per store per week. So we can say we have a reduction in our gross margin, and we don't have or we don't need to apply this price. We can recommend to apply the second price. We can recommend this price to apply on all of our stores, so we can get a better gross margin. So we're done for this practice. I'm gonna stop the broadcasting and I'm gonna take your questions. If you have any, as usual, just prepare your questions and send it to me.